What is up YouTube? Today I'm going to show you a trick I call sonic matching. The idea is to make sure that your mix levels and your EQ is relevant to that of your reference material. Cubase actually has a really cool plugin built in called Curve EQ, and it's got a really cool analysis system built in, and I'm going to talk you guys through how I use it. So as you can see, the Curve EQ has an interface sort of like this. So what happens is when you play audio, it displays the frequencies on the graph here. The cool thing about Curve EQ is it allows you to capture an image of specific parts of your audio. So say for example, you've got a section which is just kick and bass. You can grab a sort of EQ snapshot of the kick and bass. If you've got an area that then the sort of percussions come in, you can grab an EQ snapshot of that area. And then when the synths come in and the final drop and all sorts of stuff like that, you can kind of grab different EQ snapshots of the reference material. And I'm going to show you how it works quick. So there's various settings inside this edit menu over here. You could change the type of analysis that's going on. You can change the time at which the analysis takes place. So this time obviously correlates with milliseconds. So depending on the sort of lengths of the clips that you are going to want to analyze, you're going to want to adjust that to match those milliseconds. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's more of a sort of average, and you're then applying the sort of what you see in the curve to your mix. We're not actually going to be using this exact EQ. I find as a general rule of thumb, I like to move this down to about 1.5 because I'm generally only taking very short snapshots of the audio. Then what we want to do is we want to click the static and match, and then this pops up this menu over here. And now what this allows us to do is it allows us to use this take button over here to actually take that snapshot, almost like a photo of that frequency. So what we want to do is we want to find the section of our reference track which has, for example, just the kick and bass, or just kick and bass and synths, or just the sort of raw elements. So this snapshot we'll name kick and bass, and then we'll carry on to an area where some of the light percussions sort of come in. Now we want to find a part which has like the full percussions with the hi-hats, with sound effects, with pretty much everything going on. And then what I do is I look for a section which has like a lot of stuff, like a sort of build up or something like that. I name those different parts of the mix accordingly. And these are just sort of random names I'm throwing in for now. But now we can go ahead and we can mute that reference track and sort of throw it away for now. And we can go back to our arrangement and start seeing how the frequency response of our track relates to the frequency response of our reference material in the different sections where we made those snapshots. So let's say, for example, take all of these away, and then let's find our kick and bass over here. And just let's line up to see how our levels are doing. Now, because I've been doing this for a while, I kind of already have mixed that to ear, and it's already looking close enough for, I'm happy with that. But you may find that your sort of bass is like sticking out over here, and you might not be able to monitor that in your situation, or you may find like your kick has some weird frequencies going on over here or something like that. You'll be able to easily pick that up here because you're kind of visualizing it and comparing it to the exact frequencies of your reference material. So let's move along to a part where the light percussions come in. As you guys can see, there's a lot of action going around this sort of 1.5K to 2K region, but I think that's because there's a lot of synths happening at this section as well. And particularly those sort of Tristan style psychedelic drums, those have a lot of full frequency sounds in them. So those are sticking through over here. So what we can do now is we can jump back to that sound and we can EQ it according to how we want our overall sort of percussion curve to sit in the mix. So I'm going to quickly jump over, I'm going to fast forward this section, and I'm going to go over there and EQ a bit of that. And I'm also picking up our grid synths are also a little bit prominent in that area, so we can jump over there and quickly apply some EQ there as well. That's already looking and sounding much closer to what I wanted. And the weird thing is this EQ is not actually designed to be used exactly like this. As far as I know, it's designed to, for example, take a reference of one source, take a reference of another source, and apply EQ so that the one source sounds like the other one. But I found every time I used it, it always sounded way over exaggerated. So I like to then go back to the source and sort of adjust the actual sort of frequencies of each of the individual tracks to make up an overall sort of frequency spectrum that looks like the graph I'm trying to emulate, if that makes sense. So I hope that helps you guys out. Let me know what you guys think of that technique. Let me know in the comments if there's any techniques that you guys use in terms of sort of sonic matching and referencing and stuff like that. Maybe there's something I can learn from you guys. Hit me up in those comments sections. A big thanks to IDM Mag, proud supporters of the dance music scene and my channel. As always, if you like what I do and you want to support me, head on over to my Patreon, check out the different pledges I've got for you there. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. See you guys next time.